Hey guys, standing out here outside creating our Makerspace. Gonna do another tour, a little walkthrough. I think the last one I did might have been a Facebook Live, I'm not sure. But there's the outside. Gonna go in, kind of give a tour. I might miss a tool or two, but try to show you what we have here. A lot of stuff is tucked away in drawers or put on a cart on off to the side or something. Some folks don't know what we have here because a lot of our social media, the posts and things, or when someone makes something, of course it's really cool. We're gonna take a picture of it, we're gonna post it on our social media, or somebody takes a class and makes something, we're gonna show that on social media. So you're not seeing everything we have here. It's mostly because some of the stuff we have here just doesn't get used a lot. Tucked away in a corner somewhere, in a drawer someplace, and whatnot. But I'm gonna do my best to try to show you all some of the tools we have here. Some things just don't get used a lot at all, but let's see what we can do here. So when you first come in, you see the front desk area, refreshing ale 8 and a few other beverages here. So when you first come in, we try to keep this calendar populated with this month's, the current month's classes and events that are on our calendar, even though all that can be found on the website. Some people kind of need the analog and see it posted here. The problem is that we have multiple people putting those classes on our calendar and events, so sometimes the folks responsible for drawing and writing all of this onto this physical calendar don't see that. So there may be classes that are actually on our online calendar but aren't on this. Or in that, I can say the same thing as far as our Facebook events. Sometimes a class gets put onto our calendar, our internal calendar on our website, but maybe doesn't get also posted on the Facebook events because it's not automated. So just because you don't see it on Facebook events or don't see it on this calendar doesn't mean it's not happening. Those classes are there. As I walk through, I guess I can show you some things that were actually made here. So the entire calendar was made here. It is blackboard material cut on a laser. You can see each piece has the date cut out, and all of those were made on the laser. So I'll just zoom in on those. So yeah, you can see so all this was made here. A lot of the things that are here are made here with tools. There's a few things just sitting here. I think that was a flower press that someone made at one of the classes, and it needed to be laser engraved after they left, so they're gonna come back and get that. And some examples of some of the resin pours that some of the folks did in a class. They usually just sit out here until those folks come back and pick them up, because obviously they have to dry overnight or whatever. So this sign here is made of steel, cut on a plasma table. That is James walking through there. But yeah, like I said, pop machine. Just trying to catch everything, because some of the things we just don't see on our social media or Facebook posts or something like that. You can see we've been involved in some cool things. There's a Red Bull flute tie. We come in second place 2016. And here's one with a People's Choice Award in 2019. Making some dope stuff. Playing things or whatever. All of these shirts here are made here on our screen printer. We sell them to kind of raise a little bit of money, support your local makerspace, but all done on a screen printer here at the Makerspace. The rack that they are on, boom, made on a plasma table here. All right, let's keep walking through here. Oh yeah, so that sign, this little side lid acrylic, again, cut and engraved on a laser engraver here at the Makerspace. All right, so never mind that mess, it's my office. It's kind of a mess, so we won't go in there. Here's a table that is currently for sale, a collaboration between myself and another member, a member upstairs that makes jewelry and does patinas on copper and things like it, made the top. Then I plasma cut and weld the base. It's here right now until it gets sold. But it's an example of things that can be made here and whatnot. Another thing here, made plasma table. It was a collaboration between myself on the plasma table and Haley here that teaches our painting classes, painted it for us and whatnot. And I guess while I'm standing right here, another one I made on the plasma table. That sign up there, I'll zoom in on it real quick. That is done on a CNC router table. Some MDF and just painted. Things like that. So just moving around the space. We have these bins. Basically, these bins are for members that want to keep a few things here, their own little personal things, maybe consumables or personal project or some material that they're using, and don't want to have to take it back and forth. Maybe they ride their bicycle here or whatever, and just having that available for them to keep some stuff and stored in there. It's not a lot of storage. Obviously, Lexington, real estate is very expensive, so we can't store a lot of things here, which is kind of detrimental sometimes because some members just really would like to store more things here, but it just can't happen. But we do have these bins for folks to store some of their things in and whatnot. Again, some more. They just label them, they put their name on them and whatnot. Some more stuff that's being stored. So we come into this room here. This room's mostly used for events, classes. It's more of a cleaner space because we want to have a somewhat tidy, clean environment for when we're having people that aren't members, that aren't necessarily the makers that are here on a daily basis, can come in, they take a painting class or whatever, and then don't have to see a big bunch of clutter. So we don't really allow any like sanding and grinding and things like that out in this room, but projects are still done because you can see here, someone's got a glue up right there. They're using a few of the tables here that are provided, and they got a glue up going on right there. It's not a super dirty project, so they're not sanding or anything like that. As we make our way around here, you can still see some stuff. Like there's a fire pit, something I make on the plasma table and sell. It's an outdoor fire pit. Got a place here that's kind of displaying some stuff. Some of the people make, whatever, especially from the painting classes and whatnot. Got a kiln here. Some pottery stuff going on, some pottery wheels. Most of the shelves are just stuff that's either been made, being made, waiting to be made. And that's basically what that is. So I don't know if we post enough of this stuff, but we also have classes on all these things because one of the ways that the Makerspace actually works is once you become a member, you can come through the door and you have access to use any tool that you've been cleared to use. Without being cleared to use the tool, I don't know how well a Makerspace's membership is beneficial, but you get cleared to use those by either taking a class or demonstrating you already know how. Maybe you took a class somewhere else on using pottery, and so you would just kind of demonstrate to, in this case it would be Stephanie, who owns the pottery wheels and the kiln, demonstrate to her that you can use these tools safely and you're good to go. If not, just take one of those classes, and that class just gets you up to speed on how to be safe. Won't make you an expert, but get you safe and whatnot. So, and that's going to be that way with any tool here. Not necessarily little smaller hand tools like little drills and stuff like that. We're not worried about that. Just basically the bigger tools, the tools that aren't as safe, like a table saw, wood shop working stuff, welding, hot stuff. Definitely need to take a class or at least demonstrate some kind of safe ability to use. Got a vinyl cutting station over here. There's a PC, a little PC laptop, vinyl cutter, a little place to actually work with weeding and whatnot over there. It doesn't get used a whole lot. Not 100% sure why. I haven't had a class on it in a while, just because no one's really said, hey, I want to take a class on the vinyl cutter. So it's not really worth putting all of that onto the calendar if no one's going to show up. So it's basically as membership changes or rotates through, a new member comes in and says, hey, I'm really interested in using the vinyl cutter, then we throw a class up and see if we can get a few more people on there or do one-on-ones and whatnot. But there's a little heat press there. So for folks, I can move in on it. There's a heat press there. I think it's a 12 by 9. And I know some people want more specifics on some of that stuff, but there's a 25-inch vinyl cutter, and I've got another 25-inch in my office that runs on a Mac. So this one right here runs on a PC. But we have a few things, and I think one of the biggest reasons some folks don't want to get into it is because the invention of the Cricut, which I personally don't understand the popularity in one, because it costs more than what a 25-inch costs, but maybe some people just don't want to go ahead and buy the 25-inch. I'm not sure, but maybe it's the ease of use. Maybe it's just more user-friendly or something for those crickets. But I've noticed this doesn't get used as much as well. You can see here there's a big mural of Einstein here. Local street artists came in and did those for us when we first got here, and there's Nikola Tesla there. So in this particular case here, you can see lots of clamps, lots of wood clamps. We would see those in the wood shop more than actually out here, but as an example, we do have a lot of wood clamps and whatnot. Here's a project I've been working on, making this chess set. It uses a little bit of CNC plasma table and a little bit of woodworking and a torch to burn the wood and whatnot. So that's going on. There's just little projects that some folks have. Another place here where some projects are going on from another member. Not sure exactly what's going on there. I just know he's into Dungeons and Dragons, so these may be boxes of some sort or something that helps the game along. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not an expert in all the things that go on at the Makerspace, so whatnot. Some soldering stations, again, on a little mobile base so that they can roll out, be used as needed, and then back in instead of just dedicating a whole entire wall or shelf to it. There's a few sewing machines. Let's see, just basic sewing machines. I know somebody asked if we had a serger. We do have one. Just not 100% sure where it's at. And sometimes every now and then somebody will take one home or something home with them and forget to tell anybody, but then all of a sudden they bring it back or whatever. But I do know we have a serger. So there's two basic sewing machines. I think there's another basic one upstairs. This one here is one of those little manual leather slash cobbler, so you can do shoes and stuff, leather on this thing. Sitting there. See, look here. These darn things. Somebody brought that in thinking we would need it, but they're going to be gone pretty soon. But another cart, a small CNC here. You can see another small CNC router. Control everything. Somebody needs to use it for something other than what you can do on the bigger CNC router. You easily can pull out, put it on the table, hook up your laptop to it, and work with it. Again, I always like to keep some of this stuff on these carts because they can just roll out, be used, and then get back out of here. So they're not in the way of a big event or a class that we might have. There's a screen printing area. Everything you need to screen print, I think, other than printing these transparencies. So here's a transparency here. Other than printing the transparencies, I think we can do it all. And that's only because the printer we used to have that could handle these 13 by 19s and print on these transparencies took a dump during COVID, and Epson closed their factory down, so we just haven't been able to replace that printer yet because the only place you could find it was people trying to scalp it and sell it for about 8 times what they sell for retail. But anyhow, all the screen printing, so we've got the ability to expose the screens. Big sink here to clean the screens, putting the emulsion on the screens, drying the screens in the dryer here, so you can see some screens already in there to make the screens. And then actually being able to print them, it's a 4-color 4-station, and then curing the ink in a dryer. We've got the dryer here as well. So let me walk back around here. Hopefully I'm not making you all dizzy, but it's just an impromptu tour. It's not scripted. I've probably said exactly 400 times already, so I'm not comfortable with the camera. But let's go for it. So this is the Boss Laser. I think the bed on it is 55 by 33, and I'm not sure about the depth, but the bed can actually go down, so something substantial could fit in there. I think it's 80 watt. Not 100% sure, but it is a Boss Laser. He's running, I think, on Lightburn. Then we have the ULS laser, which is 30 watt. I think the last time we had the laser refurbished, it came back banging at about 37 watt, so it's a little bit stronger than it was when we first got it. It runs on its own driver, and we have everything here. No tool here requires a member to have to go download any software, even though some do choose to. Some go ahead and download their own license of Lightburn or their own version of Corel Draw or the Adobe Illustrator, whatever their favorite drawing program is. They do that so they can do those things at home and then come here and just and work with the Somebody said something about a resin printer. That one has been used twice since I bought it. I've had it about 3 years. No one wants to use it, so we don't really talk about it a lot. But there is a resin printer here, and when I bought that one, I bought 2, so I've got 1 at home too. So if some members are wanting to use a resin printer, have at it. If we have people that want to become a member, just don't know we have a resin printer, there's one. And like I said, I've got another one at home. If they want to get into some kind of production of some sort, I mean, they're not the best for that. Nothing here we have is 100% high-end production, whatever, but they can. So there's a CR10S 3D printer, a fairly good-sized bed, and a few modifications. Couldn't tell you 100% what those modifications are, because again, I'm kind of a do-it-all, no expert at any. Myself as a maker here and as well as an owner, most of the time my role is just buying the stuff that people say they want. I mean, we've always been willing to invest in a new tool if we know it can bring another member or 2 in. Membership, you know, basically a tool has to earn its square foot. So because the Lexington real estate prices are so high, and then there are 3 Ender 3s, and then I just bought another Anycubic, I think Cobra is what it's called. I just bought one of those with a direct drive to try it out. It's my own personal one. It'll probably make its way into this mix here because I'm not a big 3D printer, but every now and then I want to, and it is nice to have my own personal one for some things. This right here is a 24 by 30 vacuum forming machine. So you can see, here, let me widen this out so you can see, you know, you put your material in, it comes up here and gets heated, and then you bring it down, and then it gets vacuum formed. There's something on top of here, but you can see the elements on this thing. I'm not 100% sure about every spec on it. I just know that it required me to run a 50 amp 220 outlet for it, so I'm not 100% sure exactly what the thickness of ABS, but I believe we could probably do 1/8 inch to 1/4 inch of some ABS, PETG or whatever with it. But it's a nice vacuum forming machine. And of course there's the ping pong table in case you just have to challenge someone at some ping pong. That can happen. There are a few things we have here. There's some art. That is an original John Duska hanging on the wall. Got a few things like that sitting around down here. Back to the screen printing area, lots of inks. These are consumables. They are not provided for members. They are there as a convenience for members. So if you only need a couple of scoops of yellow, you can get a couple of scoops and just give whoever owns that yellow bucket a couple of bucks or something. But that's the benefit of the community side of being in a makerspace. Maybe you only want to make a dozen shirts and you only need a scoop of ink, and you would only need maybe a small scoop of some emulsion. But a place like this kind of helps make that happen, so that you don't have to go out and buy a whole entire bucket of that and a whole entire bucket of ink or whatnot. So there we go. Some more tools. It is DeWalt. We are not sponsored by DeWalt. It's just that's the tool selection that I own, and that's the battery platform I'm on. So when I buy new tools, I just keep buying DeWalt's. You can see we have charging stations, plenty of batteries, plenty of tools. So if there's multiple people here, if there's a class going on, we have enough for that, and there's probably even more at my house. So this is all duplicates and triplicates of things that I already own at home. So they're here, but you can see they're here. So I think one of these drills is a hammer drill, and then the rest are just regular drills. A little heat gun, it's a 20 volt, some smaller impacts, bigger impact. Again, more batteries. Actually, cool little thing. Those are 3D printed. Battery holders. Saws, bandsaw, reciprocating saws. That is not cordless, but it is another tool. It'll do brad nails and staples, I believe. A little blower to blow some stuff off. We've got some framing nailers, smaller nailers, jigsaw, whatnot. And please forgive the mess, because it is a community of makers that don't always put things back in the right place, don't always take the time to kind of organize. We try to do our best if we can, and really the more members we have and the more folks involved, the more things like this get done and whatnot, you know. But some people just come in, focus on their project, and leave. That's just going to be the way it is in the world. Some folks just come in and think this is tool rental, and they only here for one tool, and they come use that tool and they leave. Or they make a decision on becoming a member here based on one or two tools, and go, oh, I'm not going to pay that monthly fee just to have access to that one tool. I'll just buy that tool, which is probably why the bigger tools are the most popular tools, because it's hard to sit there and say, you know, I'll just buy this tool. They don't have the room for like a big CNC table or a plasma table, or the power requirements maybe for some of the things. But anyhow, here's another toolbox full of tools. You can see we try our best. I mean, every now and then I'll come in here and there'll be something besides pliers in there or whatnot. Again, disorganized, but they're there. If someone wants to organize them, please come organize them. This one is attempted organization. We're gonna try maybe make some more stuff like this on the laser. It's just volunteers are far and few between, and my time myself is already stretched thin. So if you want to become a member, come in, and because you can't stand seeing this, maybe you just want to become a member just so you can come organize this. I don't know. But anyhow, lots more tools, and I personally own every one of these. So it's I own 75% of the tools here, so they're on loan from me. But here's a bunch of drill bits. Couldn't tell you the condition of most, or having a full set. Some of us just have our own little sets that we have because we don't trust this, but they are here. It's a consumable. A lot of folks don't understand what that means, but basically if it's something that can break, dull, or go through it, members are pretty much responsible for those things, but we do have them here as a courtesy. Maybe you go out and buy a drill bit because you need it for one or two jobs, and you just leave it here for the rest of the space to use. Again, more tools, more sockets, and just basically I think it's a different size. These are like the 1/2 inch setups. Again, more random stuff. I'd like to see it more organized, but I've only got so much time in a day myself. So more tools again. Here we go. More crazy tools. And then I think more stuff that, you know, like this is a drywall nailer. I mean, drill, so driver, so not wouldn't get used a lot, so it's not on the wall over there. Just more corded drills, just more stuff. And then I probably got some personal stuff sitting around in some of those things. So random nuts and screws, things like that. So maybe somebody goes out and buys a box of 100 because that's the better price point than buying 4, and you only needed 4, so you throw the rest in here, and now the space has some other stuff for some other people. Another thing made here on the plasma table, a glove box holder, dispenser holder. So let's go back here and just I'll start on this wall here. More batteries, charger for those batteries, more C-clamps. Another thing made here on the plasma table. I make a lot of those things. Another one of these glove dispensers boxes. Another disorganized tool chest, but there are tools in here. I guess disorganized is better than not having them here at all. Random crap. Again, all this stuff is mine, so somebody wants to come in and organize them, because when I got here they were. When I brought the tools here they were. This just happens over time, but if anybody wants to organize them, please have at it. Come become a member and organize. Another random drawer full of stuff. This one actually has my name on it. It's personal, so it's all consumables, like my own drill bits, my own taps, my own consumable things that I just really don't want. I mean, they're mine, so especially with consumables, because people don't replace sometimes. Another drawer full. I mean, we got screws for days, zip ties, just more stuff. And again, these are consumables, but some people replace them, some people don't. I came in the other day and looking for a piece of sandpaper, and lo and behold, all of mine was gone. So there we go. Another drawer full of just random. Again, random. I think I got some stuff for the press over there. Yeah, more tools. These kind of stay in here because I really don't want anybody using them, but it looks like they keep getting used and they keep getting all the dust in here. I think only one other member has permission to use those, but somehow they keep getting used. It's hard to do that. And then again, random electronic stuff that I have sitting around, some LED stuff. Again, you know, I'm just trying to be thorough with some of the stuff we have here. And again, you might be watching this video a year from now. Some of this stuff may not be here. You know, it's all, some of it is personal tools, and you know, maybe a member brought a tool in, and when they became not a member anymore, they took the tool with them. So we'll see. Like I said, if you come back in a year later, you know. Another some more cool stuff made by the plasma table, more random stuff. These kind of come in here because it's more of the metal shop area. Die grinder, a couple of angle grinders there. A lot of Craig stuff. Some of the stuff's not in the box, but maybe it's in the wood shop now. Whatnot. Random tools that people have donated, or we've got here. I guarantee most of the DeWalt stuff will be mine. Again, more of those tools. There's actually an airless sprayer there. Some more parts for the screen printing and stuff sitting there. A little sharpening wheel. I think it's got the leather thing on it. It's supposed to have a water deal. I hardly ever see anybody use it. Again, some more random tools, some extension cords, just random stuff. A little 20-volt chop saw, another chop saw. They don't really get used because we've got tools in the wood shop, and we'll talk about that here. We try to provide some hearing protection and things, and some safety glasses. Some people prefer to bring their own in. Maybe they've got some that have music in them, or their own stuff, or just don't want to share something that touches your body. So, but we do try to provide that, especially like during classes and stuff. Obviously, somebody's taking a class and coming here randomly might not have something like that, or bring something like that with them. We will go in that wood shop here in a moment. Again, another thing made here on the CNC router. So now we get over here to, we got a CNC mill here. It is a Tormach 440 for milling aluminums, plastics, bronze. I mean, it'll do steel, but it's a smaller CNC mill, so we just made a rule for, we're only gonna do brasses and, you know, things like that, and aluminum in here. So we just really don't want the steel in there creating rust. It's got a tool changer and whatnot. And we do, again, have classes on these things. Actually coming up with a class soon that it's a third-party class that offers it free with YouTube videos and stuff out there into the world, and it's very thorough. But the sticking point for a lot of people taking all those online trainings is they don't have a machine. So I think we're gonna set up something where, you know, one set price, get some aluminum stock, 3 months of membership, and the ability to go through that entire class, because they say it takes about 3 months to learn everything and go through their whole course. But a lot of those folks just don't have access to the machine. But once they've taken all that, they are basically a CNC operator, and they can be either employed or be able to use a machine like this if they became a member and use this one if they need to. If you want to know what kind of things this can make, the very first thing we did make on there was during Pride Month, and there's a what you call a oh crap! It's a get it hot and boom. I'm having a brain fart right now. So it is a branding iron. That's what it is. So yeah, I made that on this Tormach. So one of the first things I did make, but you can make all kinds of cool stuff on there. More random tools, metal shop, more angle grinders, drill press for just the metal shop. We don't allow people using this one for wood or wood shavings. We don't want those in here in case you're creating sparks and whatnot. Another little metal bounce saw. Another rack here. We just kind of moves around the place. We don't know where we want to put it. More welding hoods. This is a press brake. It's basically a Harbor Freight press with a air over system on it, and then I put the Swag Off-Road press brake kit in here, so we can bend up to 1/4 inch steel at 19 inches wide there. It's got finger brake. I actually have another one down there. that will do a bigger radius on that same steel. This is a little bit tighter. And then the attachment here so that you can bend stuff like pennies or something, some thinner metal that can be used. Sandblast cabinet, more welders, nice TIG there, some MIGs. We teach a lot of the MIG class and the TIG class. They're pretty popular. We actually have a all women's welding class as well. Another thing made here, spray paint thing here. I made it on the plasma table. That's just full of some like safety glasses, some scrap metal stuff for some of the classes. Another brake here for bending metal. I think it can do 18 gauge at 48 inches wide, I think. A knee mill, if you're a machinist or no machinist, you know what this is. It's got a little DRO on it. Digital readout. I think it's, yeah, got a digital readout on it. So it's an okay machine, not the best in the world, but if you're doing that kind of work. Actually, a member just came in back here. CNC plasma table. He's working on it. I think he's trying to hook up the Xbox controller. Oh, it's working. Cool. He found the correct Xbox controller to mate with it so we can control the gantry remotely, which is nice instead of having to come over here and use the keyboard while your materials over here. But this basically cuts metal, like you can see there's another sign there. Metal shop, obviously, they have a metal sign made on the plasma table. This is a 4x8 and it's run off a controller, and then the plasma cutter itself is a Hypertherm 45. Now, the only reason I know all these things a little bit more than I do like the 3D printing and the sewing and all that is because this is kind of my little realm here stuff. And metal lathe. So now we're going to go in the wood shop. There may be a little bit more noise in here, but we'll see. So Stephanie there is our wood shop coordinator and program coordinator. She helps find people to teach classes here and stuff. But she looks like she is sharpening some wood lathe tools. Another drill press. It's a floor model. It's just like the one out in the metal shop. This one's for wood only. A little sanding station, an area for clamps and whatnot, like you saw out there. We have a lot of the clamps, pipe clamps that he's using outside there. Some more sanders, a little sanding station, a little downdraft, vacuum sanding, and then you can actually hook up for that for some dust control. Another sander, scroll saw, random sanders. This is all set up. What she's using right now is made just for sharpening and wood lathe tools. And when I say wood lathe, there are two wood lathe we use for classes. A large bandsaw, a smaller bandsaw. Right there. Another little dust collection set up here. A bunch of random tools in boxes under there. And when I say random, I mean like drill bits, Forstner bits, just different things that folks might use. Like you can see some right here just sitting there randomly. Little tools, router bits, and things. We move back around here. A larger wood lathe, for sure. Some good tools there. For turning wood bowls and whatnot. We've got a couple members that were making, well, one member is making baseball bats, and we've got some wood turning classes coming up soon. Again, we have classes on a lot of this stuff. We get you cleared to use the tool, you know, learn how to make a thing or two. More random tools just sitting around. Again, not as organized as I'd like, but at the same time, some things just have a hard time finding their way to a spot when it's been taken, and it's hard to police it if you've got nothing but volunteers working. It's really difficult to do that, so the policing needs to be with the members themselves. Just when you take a tool out, bring it to the end. Made our own dust collection set up right there. The dust collection goes all around. This is one of the areas in here that is heated and air, so is the big front room. The metal shop is not heated and air. It does have heat, but it doesn't have air conditioning. Whatnot, but we do have that. So here's a chop saw station. I think they just had a little wood shop meeting the other night, and they were talking about maybe putting some drawers in here to store a few things, because it is a constant, always trying to figure out better ways to get a little bit more organized. There's our table saw. It's a 3 horsepower saw stop. It's a safe saw. If you know what a saw stop is, then you'll know what that is. This is the router table. It's got a little router up in here. This is, again, another saw stop setup. Some tools that aren't found in a lot of home wood shops is a joiner and a 15-inch planer. This back here is the 4x8 CNC router table. It's just got a couple of items sitting on here doing whatever, but yeah, it's just a CNC router. And a whole bunch of stuff that people bring in, they wood, and they store it, and we try to keep it somewhat organized. I personally got to get rid of some of these 4x4s. Probably turn them into firewood at this point because they're just taking up too much room. They've been here too long, and I'm not immune to what everybody else is having to deal with, the rules too. So I brought these in thinking more people would use them than they haven't. So I'm going to be getting rid of those so we have more open space here so they can get some of these tools back into their space. So that's the wood shop. So big roll-up door so you can get your things in and out. There's another roll-up door outside there. So let's go upstairs then.
Yeah.
Let's come back through here. Now we're gonna go upstairs and see what's upstairs. Again, another thing that I've made there. A lot of stuff that I've made here just so I can show people what to make. Not that they have, I mean, well, some have a use and some don't. So that just looks cool, you know, so. All right, long arm quilting machine, 12 foot. We've only got one member currently that's even thinking about using it and trying to use it and learning how to use it. At one point we had a lady from the Quilting Guild was in here helping us teach some classes and try to find a use for, you know, so it's not just sitting here taking up all this space. But she passed away during COVID, and we don't really have a sewing and quilting population, I guess you would say. So again, you know, I feel like sometimes the reason we don't is because you can buy a sewing machine pretty cheap at Walmart and it doesn't take up a lot of room in your home. So becoming a member someplace to only use a sewing machine just doesn't make sense for some folks. Anyhow, there are computers up here. We do have gig internet up and down, unlimited. So when you want to upload your YouTube video like I'm about to, and it's large, it's kind of nice to come in here and have that high speed. I think over the Wi-Fi, there's no Wi-Fi there. Ubiquity, I think over that we get about 250 up and down. But if we plug into one of the Cat 6s around the space, if we plug in like that, I think we hit around 900. So this up here was meant to be a co-working space kind of thing. We do have a membership level. It is co-working. We don't really have any members. I think we have one member that's actually classified as co-working only. It means they don't have access to the tools, but they do have access to come in, floating desk, sit down, use the internet. A little coffee station over here. A little Keurig, a little fridge to keep your stuff in. Maybe you're going to be here for a few hours. You want to bring your snack or your lunch. I do have an Apple TV hooked up to that television over there, so sometimes somebody might bring their kids in and they'll sit up there and watch that while they do a project real quick. Again, another sign that I made. I'm always making something really cool. Just plenty of places to sit and relax, get on a laptop, come up here, draw whatever you're about to use on a laser or something. Members have access to this little conference table, whatnot. You have access to this space as a member. So maybe you're a Dungeons and Dragons guy and you just want a place for your next meetup. Sure, come on, bring them in. Guests are welcome. They just can't use the tools if they're not a member. So a lot of members don't really even know that they can do that. So, or utilize this conference table. Maybe you need to meet with your patent attorney. Maybe you need to meet with someone that's helping you design something or whatnot, or a thing. So you have to use this space for that. Or you might be in a neighborhood and just want to use the internet real quick. Again, like I said, I can sit downstairs. Another sewing machine. My 3D printer is a Anycubic. I kind of like it. I like the thread drive on it. I like the touch screen that it has on there, and it's easier to tighten these belts up. I like an auto bed leveling setup, and then the the flexible build plate. I like that too. So not 100% sure. So there's a little knitting thing from Michael's. I don't think anyone has used it. I bought it thinking, I don't know. I couldn't tell you how many tools I bought and brought here to the space just thinking some member might benefit from it or want to use it. I don't think anyone's ever used that. We don't really have a fiber arts type of a membership. So we don't know. So you folks out there, get in touch with us. Say, hey, do you have this? And we might say, yes, we do, or we don't. And you may say, hey, I'd become a member tomorrow if you had this. And I might say, you know what? Maybe if you'll become a member and it's worth having it here, and 4 other friends that would love to have access to the same tool, bring them, become members, and I might buy the tool. It's just, these tools just can't take up a lot of space. Like that's taking up some space that maybe could be used for something else. I don't know. And whatnot. But now that's what this space is up here. Let me come over here to this table. Another sewing machine I bought from home. Bought it off a lady in Nicholasville. It has not been used but once by my wife. Little embroidery machine. I think the sticking point is on it is you have to know how to use it first of all. And I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think you can use it like your company logo. You couldn't use unless you had it digitized and possibly put in. I'm not sure. That's another drawback to a makerspace full of tools, that if we don't have members or people that know how to use them or willing to teach how to use them, they kind of become useless. So it sits here. My wife used it once. She made a couple of things, just with the basic lettering it'll do, but maybe you know how to use this. Maybe you know how to digitize a file so that it can be used for more personalization than just using the Disney characters and just basic lettering. It's full of cool stuff. I mean, maybe you're thinking about becoming a member, but you don't know we have a little small embroidery machine. It's obviously not a commercial, just put out 15 hats an hour thing or something, but maybe you feel like you have access to that. So right here, this room here, obviously, let me see, I'm saying zoom out. Yeah, it's our podcast studio in this room. So it's another thing that I thought, man, build it and they'll come. I built it, they haven't come. So maybe you're wanting to start a podcast but don't want to invest in the equipment, don't have a place to do it. So again, maybe we just haven't done a good job of telling people about it. I don't know. So I'm gonna go in here and show you what's in here. Go in this room. You see, let me turn this light on. I got a little light here, so if you wanted to film it, you could maybe make it a video vlog, I guess they call that. But there is a computer in here. I think we've got GarageBand or something on there if you needed to edit your file afterwards. But the Rodecaster here will actually do most of everything. It will mix. You can actually see it's picking up my voice in here somewhere on one of these microphones. Yeah, or both. There you go. Yeah, left and right. I think only one might be hooked up or turned on. But anyhow, the Rodecaster, you can look it up. It's pretty dope little mixer. Basically, you can record everything straight to an SD card on it, and take that SD card and just upload to your favorite podcasting platform or whatever. This room's pretty cool. Got some sound deadening in here. I don't know if you can tell, but the AC's on right now, so that's kicking it. But if anybody wants to come in here and use this at a quieter space, we just turn the AC off in this room. Makes that happen. But it's a good little spot if you want to come in and do a Zoom meeting or something. You can actually plug right into that. You bring your laptop in, you plug right into that Rodecaster, and then have better quality on audio. It's got some headsets. We actually have some broadcast quality headsets and mics sitting in a box back here. Was donated to us by a local, I'll say Rex Chapman donated to us. So from a little program they were doing, and they kept the production equipment. Donated to us. It's a cool little room, but again, it's not getting used as I thought it would, so it is taking up a lot of square feet. Maybe something this room's more suited for. I don't know. Maybe I just take the podcast stuff home. But if you know somebody, or you yourself, been thinking about starting a podcast, but don't want to invest in, or can't, or don't want to, or don't think it's worth investing in microphones, headsets, and a mixing system, then we're right here. At the end of the day, that's really what this Makerspace is affordable access to a lot of the things that are out of reach for some folks, or just don't have the room for, and whatnot. And I know that sometimes maybe you only need to use one tool, and maybe that membership level just seems like it's not worth it for that one tool, but it kind of is, in the sense that that other people, they can use it. So back here we have some spaces for folks that are renting their own spot, starting their own business, and we're a more affordable option. I wish we had more of these and more square footage for this, but at the same time I don't want to take away from the community side of the Makerspace to build more of these, but these are really popular. They're always full. When one moves out, another one moves in. This lady here does jewelry, has her own stuff. This fella here makes some really cool stuff. He 3D prints, and you can see Dabbly Designs. There you go. I don't know if you can scan that right now, but 3D prints a lot of stuff, casts a lot of things, makes molds, reproduces things for folks, makes things for stuff that's not available anymore. These little tracks for the little Omnibot robots. He makes those and sells them worldwide. They just can't buy those things anymore. He actually rents 2 of these spaces here. I think he's got a little spraying booth in there. He's got his own laser cutter in there, his own 3D printers that he uses for his little business. So again, more laser cut stuff. This is Stephanie's little spot here, and the things she makes. She does these CNC routed out topographicals, lots of resin pour stuff. She's in the wood shop right now, but that's her little, you can see what one of these looks like. So the other alternative for her would be a garage at home. If you don't have that garage at home, maybe a craft room at home, don't have that, but she can walk right out of this space and right into another 8,800 square foot of space with tools that may or not be out of reach, or just not feasible, or not, this doesn't make sense. If you only use a CNC router once a month, maybe it doesn't make sense to own that. Maybe it makes more sense to be a member of the Makerspace instead. Sharing that expense and sharing that tool. There could be a lot of arguments for the eco-friendliness of this whole place. At the end of the day, one machine can reach 100 members, kind of thing, versus 100 members buying 100 machines. That's got to be more eco-friendly than the alternative. So that is the Makerspace. I probably didn't show you every single screwdriver, every single wrench, but there's a lot of tools here, and then you also have the access to the other members that may have their own private selection of tools that are willing to share. You definitely have access to other members that are willing to help. We all communicate on a Slack channel. Once you become a member, you're added to the Slack channel. Once you become a member, you have access to this space for the first 30 days. It's a probation period, so you get to learn learn about the Makerspace itself. Maybe you're in here and you kick a breaker. If you're in here while people are here during those limited hours that you're allowed during that first month. So basically that first month of probation, you're only allowed to be here during our open hours with staff here while other people are here, so that you get a lay of the land. You figure out the little ins and outs, do's and don'ts here, and then after that 30 days you get a key fob and you get 24 hours a day access to come in here. So maybe you get your kids put to bed and your husband's fed, or vice versa, or whatever, and then come over here and work at 2 in the morning if that's what you want to do. So we do have that ability, or you would have that ability. Again, on the Slack channel, that's your communication between other members, because at the end of the day, we might have some pretty cool tools, but we've got even cooler members, and they're willing to help. And even if that means as simple as, hey, I need a sheet of metal, and I just went over and saw the price of a sheet of metal. I only need about half of it. Anybody else want to go in on the other half, kind of a thing? Or maybe you need a piece of plywood from Home Depot. Maybe you can reach out on that Slack channel and say, hey, is anybody going to Home Depot? Want to share a piece of plywood with me? Or who has a truck that I can use? Or who has a truck that can go pick this up for me? I have a truck. I don't know how many members have used my truck to go pick up a sheet of wood or a sheet of steel, or just help each other out. So it's more than tools. It's a community of other people trying to help each other and learn and collab. And we do, as a group, we do some pretty cool stuff. We've done cool stuff like the vertical flute top. There are things that are on that laser that have been made on our laser that are on the space station right now because we've got interns from Space Tango working here, our members here. So they're making cool stuff. It's neat. You know, during COVID, we made face shield stuff and excuse me, did some really cool stuff there. And then had about 6 of our members working on an open source ventilator. So you've got people doing things that are a call to action because of maybe a situation that's actually happening in our world at that time. At the time of COVID, we just banded together and did things because we weren't able to do a lot of other things. COVID kind of put a big kill on us, and I think recently I read that people want to know why the prices, the membership level went up. Well, COVID kind of hurt us really, really bad. We lost a lot of members during COVID. We lost the ability to have classes and events with multiple people here. We had to do a fit up on this building. We moved into this building March of 2020. We had no idea that there was this thing called COVID about to reach out and shut us all down. So there was a very, very, very few. I can count on that hand of folks that actually came out in the beginning of COVID and helped us move the tools over, helped us take carpet up in places where we didn't need carpet, helped us do some painting, helped us, do electric and everything here. But anyhow, over time, the rent is very expensive at Lexington, and we weren't able to have classes and events, and we've literally lost money. And to this day, as I'm speaking this video, making this video, we're losing money every single month. So I know the membership rate sometimes just scares people, but it's math. So the electric bill is the same no matter what. The rent's the same no matter what. So something we can't change unless you know of a building that you'd like to donate or you know of a building owner that would like to donate that building. I'm all ears for it, but Lexington's got very limited supply of commercial buildings, and therefore those commercial buildings lease and sell for a very, very high rate. So come and see us, man. Come become a member. Tell friends that you know that might benefit from any of those tools you saw us using here. That metal shop gets a lot of use because those tools are out of reach for some folks. Plasma cutting tables and welders. Even if it's as simple as just come take a class. You'd be amazed how many folks that we've actually had come take a welding class and liked it and enjoyed it and became good at it. And next thing you know, they are getting a job welding. We had 3 high school students come in and take a screen printing class, and fast forward, however many months or whatever after they started making their own little shirts and brand and everything, they had 1.3 million followers on TikTok. Now they've moved out to LA and they're selling their product. Which, in my eyes, the alternative was daddy's credit card, daddy's garage, possibly, to get started. Instead, they came to a community workshop, took a class, learned a skill, used the tools available here to start a business. And that's a cool thing. So, all right, there's your video tour. I try to keep this under an hour. So we're back out here, parking lot, building. Come out here, hang out, come check it out, take a class, come take a tour, become a member if you feel you can value some of this cool stuff. The laser cutters, the 3D printers, all of it, good for prototyping, good for making. We've got folks here to supplement their income on Etsy. We've got folks here running a complete 100% business out of here because the alternative is going across the street and renting that place for, $1,500 a month and maybe making it, maybe not making it, but you come here for a lot less outlay when you first start your business. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. It's not always going to work, but it's a better alternative, I feel. And becoming a member someplace like this, even if you might not think you're getting 100% of your membership dollar every single month, but being a member here is definitely making it so that another member can be here getting 100% of that value, keeping it affordable for everybody. So it's just a big sharing thing. So see you guys.